Next speaker is Netherlands, please.
Dear delegates, distinguished moderator, as a youth delegate of the Netherlands on sustainable development, I welcome this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Dutch youth. In the Netherlands, we love to cycle. It's not only a healthy way of transportation, but it's also very sustainable. With that in the back of our minds, my colleague and I jumped on our bikes and cycled 300 kilometers through the country to talk to as many people as possible about the transition to sustainable economy and energy. We spoke to young people at schools, daycares, and community centers. We wanted to hear their opinion and ideas on the transition towards a sustainable society. The main message that came across is that young people want not only a fair transition, but also a fast transition. A fair transition means that everybody is able to participate. Today, the Dutch government presented the climate agreement, explaining how we will reach a reduction of 49% CO2 emissions in 2030. This agreement was established by all relevant stakeholders, and I'm very happy to say that the Dutch youth were heard in this as well. Young people want and have to be included in the transition to a sustainable energy supply. But a fair transition also means that the costs are proportionally spread, not only according to financial capacity, but also based on pollution level. Everybody should be able to afford clean energy, and less wealthy people should be supported. The second point I would like to raise is the need for a fast transition. We feel a high sense of urgency and want clean energy as soon as possible. Young people expect their governments to take the lead in this and to enhance ambitions even further. For my country, that means increasing the goal of 49% CO2 emission reduction to 55% CO2 reduction by 2030. So let's continue our bike ride to achieving our goal in 2030. But let this bike ride be fast and fair, and let's make sure that nobody is left behind along the way. Meaning that in 2030, the only thing we'll leave behind are fossil fuels. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the great statement. Shows you can't keep the youth down, but it also the same things that my children tell me. And I think that your generation really is going to be the inheritor of this system, and we must listen to your views also. And often I find your generation much more interesting than my own. So thank you for your contribution. Let's move to Switzerland, please. Next speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. What needs to